We all have our favorite players, prospects, guys that we want to see succeed, and today we're going to talk about just that. Now, to be clear, this is not my number one player at every position. These are just the guys that have that it factor to me, and I want to see him succeed at the next level. But this video, more than any, get in the comment section below and let me know those players for you. Now, unlike the offensive side of the ball, which we covered in yesterday's video, which if you missed it, please go check it out. We're going to have a lot more names to cover on the defensive side of the ball because I've grown to love defense more and more every single season, especially up front with the defensive line. And we've seen with the Eagles, with the Seattle Seahawks, in order to make deep playoff runs, you need a healthy and you need a dominant defensive front. And I think a guy like Lee Hunter is going to be a gem at the end of the first round, where a lot of teams, especially after he tests here in a couple weeks, teams are going to be salivating to draft a Lee Hunter again at the tail end of the first round because at 6'4", 325, not only does he have a monster frame to him, he's a dominant run defender. He eats up double teams almost every single play. They're on a loaded Texas Tech defensive front. He was the one that was commanding a lot of the attention from the offenses. I think with his athleticism, being the freak that he is, I think he's going to be a functional pass rusher at the next level as well. Overall, great Senior Bowl weekend. He's going to be a tone setter, and I think he will test extremely well. I love Lee Hunter, just like probably many of you out there, and he's going to be my favorite interior defensive lineman in this year's class. My favorite edge rusher in this year's class is Gabe Jacas out of Illinois, and I don't know what it is. Over the last couple of years, I've loved a lot of Illinois players and a lot of Notre Dame players coming out as far as their draft tape. But I have no connection to Chicago or Illinois as the state. Regardless, it's just a coincidence. But for Gabe Jacas at 6'3", 275, he is a monster defensive edge, but he is super athletic, which is deceptive, again, given he's 275 pounds. But he's a complete edge. He's a great run defender, great pass rusher. He has a great pass rushing approach to him, so he has counters upon counters, making him hard to take off of the field. Over the last 2 seasons, he's had 20 sacks and 6 forced fumbles, so he has a knack for finding and, again, creating turnovers there for his defense. Ultimately, the only thing you worry about is sometimes he doesn't finish because he's too aggressive getting to the point of attack. But Gabe Jacas is fun to watch. He is super athletic, and he is a top 5 edge rusher for me in this year's class. Now, outside of Jacob Rodriguez, which I believe was America's Heisman, if the fans had completely all of the votes, I love Jacob Rodriguez. You guys know that. I've covered him on this channel a lot. Outside of Rodriguez, Red Murdoch, the linebacker out of Buffalo at 6'3", 240, is my favorite in the class because he is probably the most secure tackler I've ever seen. At least he's up there with some of the best in recent years because when he makes contact with the offensive player, the play's dead, right? There is no breaking off of a Red Murdoch tackle because he gets after you and he hits you hard and he disrupts plays. Not only does he, secure every single tackle, but he gets the football for his team. He's had 17 forced fumbles over the last 3 years. He is like a Vontaze Burfict. So if you haven't heard of Red Murdoch, there's your quick snapshot. He is looking to hurt players more so than really protect the offensive player. The only thing I worry about with Red Murdoch is how other teams will evaluate him. He had a teammate last year in Sean Dolak who led the nation in tackles, but teams didn't draft him very high at all. Red Murdoch is a similar player to Sean Dolak, so I'm wondering where he gets drafted, if at all, but I do think he's going to be a great NFL Mike linebacker. He just needs the opportunity. Now, cornerback is a tie. It is either between Malik Muhammad or Chandler Rivers. For Muhammad, he's 6', 190, one of the most smart, technically sound corners in the class, where I do think, based on this last year's tape, he shows elite flashes in coverage. He has elite ball skills as far as disrupting plays, getting a lot of pass deflections, and of course, generating some turnovers for his team. He was one of the clear bright spots on this Texas defense that struggled this past year, or at least was underwhelming. I think he has a very safe floor, higher ceiling, of course, and a lot of the same sentiment with Malik Muhammad can be shared with Chandler Rivers of the Duke Blue Devils, which I can go down to him really quick as well. For him, he's 5'10", 185, does come in a bit undersized, but I think he's a true island man-to-man corner. And I think with his elite flashes as far as being an athletic freak and his elite ball skills, he could be a gem down the board because both of these guys are not even projected to be day two picks, and that is utterly shocking to me based on what I see on tape. Now, we're talking about all these younger, intriguing, high upside players. Let's talk about an Unk, a guy that had a lot of experience at the collegiate level. Bud Clark of the TCU Horned Frogs. He's a six-year senior, right? And this is a guy that does come in with a lot of experience. He's seen a lot of offenses, a lot of concepts, and he is so great at decepting plays and disrupting the offense because he's been around for so long. And that makes him an instant plug-and-play player at the next level. Again, like I mentioned, I think he has great instincts, secure tackler. He reminds me of a Cameron Kinchins, who was a my guy from a couple years ago. He's just not the most explosive athlete like other safeties in this year's class. But as far as watching him, I love how he just gets to the spot before the offense does more times than not. And I think he will be a safe draft pick for any team that gets him. So Bud Clark at the safety position is my favorite to watch. But all in all, let me know your favorite prospects at every position in the comment section below. Again, these don't have to be guys that you are at the top of your board, right? These can be guys that you see as the fifth or sixth best player at their respective positions, but you just love their tape. You want to see them succeed at the next level, and you're going to follow them no matter where they get drafted. But there's my list. Let me know yours in the comment section below.